guys, welcome to my channel. Thank you for joining me. If you're new, welcome. Don't forget to hit that little subscribe button down below as well as the little bell so you'll get a notification every time I post a new video. So today's video is going to be a chit chat, get ready with me if you guys have not seen the title, of course. Obviously, so I'm sitting down, I'm going to get ready to do my makeup, and I just want to sit and conversate with you guys. I have not done one of these videos in quite some time, and I've had a lot of people commenting saying that they liked some of my makeup type videos. I am by far not a makeup guru. I actually don't even wear makeup on a daily basis. But I figured since I was about to do my makeup for the evening, this would be a good time for me to sit and talk to you guys about a lot of different things that have been going on, a lot of just sit, spill the tea, talk to you guys. So yeah, if you guys are interested in this video, then please keep watching. Okay guys, I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'll try to remember to kind of show you guys on camera everything that I'm using. I've got my mirror here. If you guys see me looking down, I am just looking at my mirror. So I'm first going to go in with my Baby Skin Primer. Literally my favorite primer. It's a drugstore brand, you guys know. It's by Maybelline, but it is the #1 primer that actually works for me. So that's just what I'm applying right now. And I just like to do a thin layer, and I even put it over top of my eyelids because I actually thought about applying some eyeshadow this time, and I'm not a huge wearer of eyeshadow. But because I think I might put some on in this video, that's why I put a little primer over top of my eyelids. So, what has been going on? I know you guys, if you are not new to my channel, I have not uploaded a lot of vlogs. If you guys have noticed, I have taken a little break. And that is mainly because I have been so busy. So, I'm still on night shift. I will actually be transitioning back over into day shift by the middle of December. Thank God. I'm not a huge night shift fan. And at my hospital, we typically switch over. I'm trying to get this to come out. This is LA Girl Pro Concealer, and I like to outline my eyebrows on this. So I'm working on this to come out. So we typically switch at my hospital every 4 to 5 months. So it has come upon my time for me to go back over into the day shift life. And I am super, super excited about that. So yeah, night shift has really done a lot on me. Like, I like night shift because it's a little more of like a chiller type environment. Even working on the civilian side, it can be a little bit more of a chill type environment. But it just does a lot like on my body. It's really hard for me to stay consistent with the gym. It's really hard for me to stay consistent with my eating habits. Like, everything is just a little bit harder on night shift. Like, even staying consistent with friends and conversations, like, it's all a little bit harder on night shift. So definitely looking forward to that. And especially with, like, you know, the holidays and the new year coming up, it'll be nice. And with the new semester starting in January, it'll be a nice change. So looking forward. So yeah, I don't know if you guys, if you're new to my channel and you're following me on Instagram, I'm not sure if you guys know this or not, but I recently posted, and I did a video on this too because I have the iPad Pro. So this is one of my stories for this video. I recently purchased my iPad Pro, which was like mid-September, or like almost toward the end of September, and I did not know that Apple was releasing a brand new iPad Pro. So I bought the iPad Pro. I've been loving it for grad school, like literally so glad I made the purchase. But I was really upset when I found out that Apple had released the brand new iPad Pro, because I would have waited so I could have gotten the new one, right? Of course. So when I found out that the new iPad Pro is coming out, of course, I wanted to go through the whole like pre-order process, and I wanted to get rid of the one that I have. This is the Urban Decay Primer Potion, and I'm going to actually go in with the Too Faced Peppermint Mocha eyeshadow palette. This is the one they released last year for the holidays. There's like a set of 3, and they all smell like their name. So this has like a peppermint smell. So yeah, so anyways, I have my iPad listed on eBay, right? Because I want to sell mine since I'm in the process of getting the brand new one. And you guys know, like when you list things online, you have to be very, very careful about, you know, who you listed, where you listed, you know, who's contacting you about it, blah, blah, blah. So I had it listed for like a day on eBay, and I get like a hit on it. And of course, you know me, I'm thinking this person's like super, super serious. We're communicating back and forth. They wanted to see some extra pictures of like the edge, just to make sure, you know, it had never been dropped. Because I told them, you know, it's pretty much brand new. It's always been in the case, blah, blah, blah. So they're like, okay, yeah, I want to, you know, go forward, make the purchase. Because I have it as a bundle. Like I'm even selling the Apple Pencil, because Apple also released a brand new Apple Pencil. So I have like this whole bundle thing set up on eBay, right? So I'm thinking this person is like straight up legit. So I send them the invoice, and they're emailing me like, oh, what's your email? So you'll get the notification from PayPal. Now, I deal with PayPal all the time. Like sometimes people can pay me for my shop items through PayPal, or like my dog sitter, like we have transactions through PayPal. Just I deal with PayPal on a regular basis. When you make a purchase through PayPal, you get the notification right away that somebody has made a purchase. So they keep saying, oh, check your spam folder, check your spam folder. I'm like, no, I don't have anything from PayPal. When somebody sends you money over PayPal, you get that notification right away. They're like, oh, you know, just keep checking because I sent you the money. So I keep looking, and lo and behold, there's an email from PayPal, but it's in my spam folder. That's red flag number 1 already. The fact that it's from PayPal, but it's in my spam folder. So I immediately, like my mom and I were looking at this email, and she's like, no, let's call PayPal. So I call PayPal, I speak to an actual PayPal representative, and I read the email to them. And they're like, no, ma'am, I just want to let you know that this is a fraudulent email. Right, my thoughts exactly. Because in the email itself, it sounded really suspicious. There's like a rotating PayPal symbol, and it's basically saying once you send the tracking number, which states that you sent the product, the funds will be released. No, I'm not an idiot. I'm not going to send a bundled total item of over $600 to you without me seeing the funds in my account. And even the PayPal representative was like, no, ma'am, let me send you a copy of how our actual PayPal emails are supposed to sound. This is how we address customers. And the gentleman was like, so no, this is a fraudulent email. We want you to send this to our spoof department so we can investigate this further, blah, blah, blah. So I text this individual, because we have been corresponding through text, like outside of eBay. And I said, hold on, because I saved this, because I wanted to share it with you guys. I said specifically to the individual, I have contacted PayPal and spoken with a representative who was able to verify that you sent me a fraudulent email. When I told you that I used this iPad for graduate school, what part of this did you not understand? I am too smart for your games. Don't contact me, and don't try to play me. I reported this email and your user ID to eBay. Only an idiot would send a product of that value without proof of funds in their account. I am not the idiot. Legit, Sent the text, never got a response, nothing. Like, dude, no, don't play me. Do not play me. So, to make a long story short, the dude tried to scam me. It wasn't happening. And I also got a subsequent email from eBay saying that that was a fraudulent account and the user was removed from eBay. So you guys, please be careful, whether it's the holiday times or not, when you are making purchases online. I just want to throw that out there because this person thought they were going to scam me. Could have got away with it if I hadn't been smart enough, and if my mom was like, no, something's up with this, and if I hadn't have contacted PayPal and gone through that whole process, and yeah, so I would have been without my product, without my money, sitting there looking sad with my lips poked out, and it would have been all my fault because I would have fallen for it. So that's a lesson learned. So yeah, definitely be very careful, especially around the holiday times. So I just did like a little light, soft mauve type color from this palette. I'm going to move on and start with my foundation. This is the Marc Jacobs Genius Gel. I try to use this one really, really sparingly because they actually do not make this formula anymore. This was like the original formula. And I was looking online a couple months ago just out of curiosity because I know one day this particular bottle will be empty. And they have reformulated this one. And I don't know if it's going to be exactly the same as what I'm using now. This one and Rihanna's Fenty foundation are literally like my go-to foundations. So I try to use these very, very sparingly. That was like a big deal because I could have fallen for that. But I am so glad that I did not. So anyways, yeah, still using the same original iPad. The other one, when you pre-order it, it takes like a week or so to get here. So I'm just going to wait till the semester is over because I don't want to be without an iPad. So yeah, speaking of this semester, moving on. I have about 3 weeks left and this semester will be over. Thank God, because I have reached literally like a burnout. I'm at like an end of the semester burnout, literally. And I just need a break. I literally just need a break. Between pharmacology and this healthcare finance class that I had like that 15-page paper in, I am literally crawling to the end of the semester. I'm just like, dear Lord Jesus, please help me. So within pharmacology, a lot of people have asked like how I'm actually studying for that class. And my professors will even tell you when you listen to their lectures that they pull their content straight off of the PowerPoints that we listen to. So that's literally all I use when I'm studying and preparing for my test. So I don't use like anything outside of the material that's already provided. But honestly, for me, I think test 3 was literally the hardest because there was so much material. So much material. And I feel like it was given to us in such a short amount of time. Move my earrings out of the way. You guys, look at the coverage. Can we just take a minute to pause? Look at the coverage of this foundation. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Literally, like the color match, and I've had this foundation for over 2 years now. Color match is still on fleek. Everything about this foundation is fabulous, and it's like a semi matte, so it's really good even if you have dry skin. It doesn't cling to those dry patches or whatever. So, just a little side note. It's such a nice foundation. So yeah, I only use the material that's provided by the professors, and that's exactly what I use when I study. I don't use any outside resources or anything like that. And so far the class has been going very, very well. I'm just really ready for it to be over, frankly. I just need a break. So I'm going into the spring semester because I've already registered for classes This is Tarte Shape Tape, my #1 concealer, if you guys are wondering. And I'm in the color Deep. So I'm going into my spring semester when it does start in January. And I'm going to be taking 3 classes. But that's not going to be too bad because one of the classes is the full semester. And then the other 2 classes, they're both divided up. And they're only 8 weeks apart. So one of them will be for 8 weeks. And then when it's over, I will go into the start of the other class, which is 8 weeks. Just kind of rocking along. I was talking to Fatima, you guys know that's my best friend, and I was telling her, I was like, at one point, I was actually honestly considering about switching over to go full-time. And then I guess she kind of like talked some sense into me. She was like, why do you want to do that? I was like, at one point, I felt like I was not making any progress. And I know it's not about how fast you get to the end. The fact is, I'm in school, I'm making progress, slow and steady wins the race. I got that whole analogy. But I just felt at one point, I was like, I want to get this over with. And then I was like, well, wait a minute. Let me just take my time because I don't want to overwhelm myself. And then my grades start slipping, especially working full-time, you know, with the Air Force and how things are with that. So I was like, let me just slow down. Let me leave things how they are. I honestly have no problem being a part-time student, but I was just feeling like I just wanted it to be over as quickly as possible. But I'd rather stay part-time and work at my own pace and not overdo it than to become a full-time student and feel like I'm struggling and then like everything is falling off around me. So if you're watching this and you're a part-time student and you're working full-time, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Don't overdo it. Don't make yourself feel pressured into what's going on around you. Just take your time. Slow and steady wins the race. The fact is that you're in school, you're doing your best, and you don't want to overdo it and let your grades start slipping. So I had to remind myself of that. I'm just setting my concealer. I'm not really baking, so to speak. I'm just kind of setting it a little bit here. And this is the Laura Mercier translucent setting powder. This is the old school one. I think she's got like a new one out. I'm not sure. But this is my go-to as well. I literally am a creature of habit. I stick to things that I'm used to, especially in the makeup world and being a woman of color, because I can't be out here looking a hot mess, face, neck, not the same color. I can't do that. So I have to stick to things that work for me. And this works for me. I tried Beauty Bakery. It didn't work for me. I was looking really red and burnt under the eye. So I was like, no, I couldn't do that. So I'm just letting this sit for a hot second. Very, very important that you keep your lips moisturized, especially in the wintertime, because you do not want dry, crusty lips. Ladies, that is not cute. So I'm kind of going in with like a fall color. This is Sad Girl by Anastasia Beverly Hills. And all the brushes that I use are by It Cosmetics. If you guys are wondering, they make very, very top high quality brushes. Those are the only brushes that I'll use. So one more thing that I want to talk to you guys about, because I did a poll on Insta Story. I recently, where's my brush? I recently went and I had an IUD inserted. So if you guys are not familiar with what an IUD is, it is an intrauterine device. It is a form of birth control. It's contraceptive. So I actually have a Paragard. Once again, if you're not familiar with Paragard, it's the copper version, so it's the non-hormonal, because I did not want any extra hormones added into my body. So I have been doing a lot of reading and research and everything before I decided to go this route. And let me just tell you, what I read was not what I expected when I went and had this thing inserted. So I went, it's been probably, by the time you guys see this video, it's probably been like a week or so now. And the lady that did the insertion was a nurse practitioner, very, very nice. She made me feel very comfortable. It was probably one of the most painful experiences I've ever had. I've even had a Brazilian wax and it wasn't that painful. So I went during the time where my period was going on, and she was like, oh, that's fabulous. She was like, we usually like women to come in when they're on their period because it kind of helps with the insertion. She'll be a little less painful. Your cervix is a little softened. If you guys are uncomfortable hearing this, you can skip past. So anyways, I was like, okay, yeah, you know, I had read that, thought things were going to be good, thought it was going to be peachy. The actual, let me say, the actual insertion did not take that long. It was the pain and what I kind of had to go through that took a while. So when I actually went and had everything set up, so when you think about the setup as far as like a pap smear setup. I'm just going to do highlight really quick, and this is Becca Topaz. I would show you, but it's actually broken in here and I don't want it to fall out. So what happened was, y'all, what actually made the whole thing painful, so to speak, was just the actual insertion, like trying to get the Paragard in through the outer part of the cervix into the inner part of the cervix and sitting right outside, like right there by the top of my uterus. And she had to use an instrument called the sound because she has to measure the depth of my uterus to know where to actually sit the Paragard. That is what hurt the most. I was literally in there with her, and then there was a student in there too, God bless her, trying to get her hours. And she looked at me and was like, honey, I've been through this. I know what you're going through right now. I literally clenched my stomach, my legs clenched down, and then the NP looked up like over and was like, you gonna be okay? I was like, yeah, I'm okay. I felt like a hot flash. I thought I was going to pass out. I was like, what in the world? Contemplating all types of thoughts, like contemplating life at that moment. Like, what have I got myself into? Why am I doing this? And so that is kind of what took so long, because my cervix literally like clamped down and she had to stop. She was like, okay, we're gonna stop for a minute. We're gonna let you relax. So I had to like literally relax, take a couple deep breaths. I had to do like this coughing maneuver so she could actually insert it further into the inner part of my cervix to get to my uterus. So I measured to like a 7, which is normal, but she didn't go all the way to the depth of a 7. You don't want to insert it right at the top of the uterus because you don't want like implantation and things like that, or like where the uterus kind of engulfs the Paragard. So she went down to a 6 and inserted it at about the measure of a 6, at about the depth of a 6. So the fact that I was already on my period, I just had this IUD inserted. I don't know if the pain I was experiencing were actual cramps from the period or cramps from the IUD insertion, because it was like a mix of both. But I do know the cramps that I had were a little bit worse than actual cramps that I'm used to from my typical menstrual cycle. I literally went home that day, laid down for the rest of the day with a heating pad on my stomach. I was like, oh my God, what in the world? And then I ended up having to go to work that night because I ended up getting called in. Best believe I took my heating pad to work, because when I was sitting there at my computer having to do charting and things like that, oh, actually I was charge nurse that night. Heating pad was still on because your girl was in pain. It felt like I had 1,000 tiny unicorns tap dancing on the top of my uterus. And for at least 3 subsequent days thereafter, I still had cramps. And it was to the point where I was like, this is really, really painful. I was like, I don't know about this. And even after my menstrual cycle was over, I still had like pseudo cramps. Like, it would come and go, like, ooh, let me push on your uterus and back off. And then like an hour or so later, ooh, I'm gonna push on your uterus and I'm gonna back off. It was really, really painful. I was not expecting that from the literature that I read. And I don't know, like I said, if it's maybe because of the actual IUD that I had. I don't know if it's because of the Paragard copper version. I don't know if it's because of the fact that I went while I was on my menstrual cycle, which they say is best. And if I went through that while I was on my menstrual cycle and it was supposed to be best, I can only imagine if I wasn't. I probably would have fallen off the table and been like, okay, that's it. No, thank you. I decided this is not what I want to do. I just wanted to share that with you guys. So I particularly chose the IUD route in particular for me because of its longevity. The Paragard in particular is 12 years and it's very, very effective. You don't have to worry about if you're on certain medications, the efficacy being decreased. You can have it removed at any time and you're still fertile. You don't have to worry about, you know, any of it getting out of your system before you're able to have a child. And I know even for me, like speaking for myself, like I want to get through school. When I get married, like I don't want to worry about, you know, having a child right away. I want to be able to get through school, be married, enjoy being married for a while before even trying to have a child. I want to get married and then be pregnant right away. Like I want to enjoy married life. And everybody's different. There's so many different birth control options out there. You just have to find what's right for you. So that's more of the reason why I chose the IUD. I just was not expecting to have that sort of experience. Your girl was not ready. And I even took pain medication beforehand like they suggest. And I wasn't ready. I was not quite ready for just that amount of pain. But I was thinking, it's a small amount of pain for a little tiny piece of something going into my uterus, or a lot of pain for like a larger size baby coming out. So like, where are we going with this? You can get through it, Jay. You can get through it. Alright guys, so this is the finished look. Like I said, I try to keep it super, super simple. I don't even do eyeliner that much anymore. I'm not really a huge fan of it because I don't have the greatest technique. This is basically all I do all the time. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was really, really good talking to you guys. Let me know in the comment section how you guys are doing. What's new in your life? What big plans do you guys have coming up for 2019? Make sure you write out some good goals for yourself that you plan to have for 2019. Execute those goals, you guys. Find something that you want to work toward and stick to it. 2019 is going to be a big year. It's going to be a great year. So with that being said, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below on your way out. Hit the little bell so you get notifications every time I post a new video. Thank you guys for all of your support. You know where to find me. If it's not on YouTube, you can find me on Instagram. Make sure you're following me. And once again, I love you guys, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!